Hebrew Recap. Today, we will recap an Israeli drama action film from 2016 called Our Father, or in Hebrew, Avinu. The crowd is going wild in a Middle Eastern night party. This is Sky Club, the most famous and successful in the city. We witness our protagonist, Ovadia, who is the security manager at Sky Club, taking the lead by giving his men orders, scouting the inside of the club, and deciding who enters the club and who's not. One of the security guards, Alfasi, is pulled into the toilet by a sketchy-looking guy, Romano. Romano spreads some powder and both of them are sniffing. Romano is offering Alfasi to join him in a sketchy business of selling powder in the club. The guard fears because the club belongs to the Makhluf brothers, a crime organization who sell their own powder in this territory, and it is a dangerous thing to mess with them. Romano seems confident though. In the VIP section, we see two homeboys looking like real G's, the Big G, Rosenthal, and his lieutenant, Rami. A group of drunk people are bouncing into another and spilling their drinks. A fight between the two groups starts. Ovadia quickly rushes to the scene and spreads between them. The angry drunks redirecting their anger towards him, and he fights them back, successfully, with his Krav Maga skills. Rosenthal is watching the fight, amused and thrilled. He wants Ovadia as a card in his pack. A guy breaks a bottle on one of the security guards' head, and Ovadia rushes to help him. After the last enemy is defeated, the security guards are kicking the blooded drunken guys outside of the club, who are threatening Ovadia. Ovadia smiles at them victoriously. That was just another regular shift for him. Seems like he's very used to beat people up for his living. What brings us to one of the movie's biggest dilemmas.
One extremely annoying shift later.
It is closing time, and Ovadia is shouting on his men. He is very angry on Alfasi for disappearing to the toilet during the fight, and he threatens to fire him. Afterwards, Ovadia goes upstairs to meet Mickey. Ovadia is angry at Mickey. Mickey is making a laugh over the club's success, but Ovadia is angry, and he is pointing Mickey's attentions to the powder used in the club's toilet, especially to Alfasi hanging there too much, using the powder himself. Mickey tells him not to worry about it, and that he will talk to Alfasi tomorrow. Mickey gives Ovadia 400 shekels to make him calm. Mickey then receives a call from his pregnant wife. He answers her. Apparently, it is another false alarm for contractions. The day after, Ovadia is working on his moving business with his truck. Ovadia is a really hard worker, holding two intense jobs in which he is using his gifted physical shape. After finishing his job, Ovadia picks his wife, Rachel, from work. From her clothes, we can tell that she is working in a pharmacy shop. Both of them are working hard to found their life together. The couple are going to meet the doctor, and he announced them that their pregnancy did not succeed. Apparently, the couple are trying to deliver a baby for 5 years now, without success. Ovadia is losing his nerves and blaming the doctor and the hospital by saying that by lab test, Rachel and him are functioning right and has no health problems. They were supposed to get pregnant by now. Rachel flees to the hallway. Ovadia is trying to calm her down, but she rejects him. Afterwards, we're with the couple in their home. They sit at the living room, frustrated. Ovadia prays to the Jewish gods with despair. Afterwards, he smiles and trying to seduce Rachel to make another baby, and also to comfort her. He says that he doesn't do it for his own pleasure. He just really wants to have a baby. At Sky Club, the night goes wild. Rosenthal and Rami are chilling. They are gossiping about the Wonder Boy singing on stage. Rosenthal asks his men to tell the singer to come after the show and talk with him, probably to give him a private show. And the singer goes like, okay. At the entrance, Romano is trying to go inside the club, but gets rejected by the selector. Romano is one of Rosenthal's men, and he demands her to let him in. The selector ignores him, and he gets pissed off. Romano starts to shout on her and threatens that she will get fired because of not letting him in. Ovadia rushes to the scene and signals Romano to be quiet and patient. Afterwards, he takes him to the back and let him enter. The selector is angry at Ovadia for letting Romano in after she told him not. Ovadia tells her that this is how it works here, and that there are some people who are high prioritized than others. The selector gets angry even more and leaves. Ovadia steps inside the club. Rosenthal invites him to sit down with them. He asks him when is he going to answer positive to his business offer, and Ovadia say that he's not sure about it. Rosenthal continues by saying that Ovadia has a special gift for beating people up. He says that Ovadia can use his skills to make some crazy big money. He offers him 10,000 shekel a day, which is a crazy offer. It's like $3,500. From the distance, Ovadia can sense troubles, and he rushes to fight the bad guys again. After the victory, Rosenthal gives him applause. The day after, the couple are going into more fertility treatments, and Ovadia is needed to pay up front for it, cracking his teeth while he needs to deal with hard times of founding his family life. Couple of days later, Rachel and Ovadia are invited to a Jewish mutilating a child ceremony, invited by Mickey and his wife for circumcising their newborn child. Mickey and Ovadia are hanging with the Machluf brothers, Victor and Chezi, who are Mickey's cousins and the owners of Sky Club. Ovadia is joining the women who are surrounding the wounded baby. He asks for the mother to pick the baby up. Rachel is watching Ovadia treating the baby kindly and fantasizing about having one like this for herself, and to share a moment like this with Ovadia. The next scene, we see Ovadia at his truck. Ovadia enters Rosenthal's main business office and tells him that he is in the business, not the building. Rosenthal is happy and gives Ovadia a list of people and addresses. Those people borrowed money from Rosenthal organization and they need to bring the money back. Rami is going with Ovadia on his truck to the first stop. It's a car repair business. Ovadia steps in looking for the man who owns the money. He threatens him to give the money he owns to the Rosenthal organization. The man is scared and say that he will give him the entire money tomorrow because he don't have it right now. Ovadia then leaves the place happy and goes back to the truck. He tells Rami the good news. Rami is smiling and then he tells Ovadia to go back inside and beat the shit out of that man. Ovadia declined to do it and Rami tells him to go back to Rosenthal and that he is a waste of time. Rami says that he knew Ovadia is not made for this. Ovadia tells Rami to wait. He is preparing himself and goes back into the garage. There, he ends up in a fight with the other workers. After the fight is over, he goes back to the truck and gives the money back to Rami. Rami tells him that the borrowers will always ask for a delay and that Ovadia can't accept that. They are going to their next location and Rami is preparing Ovadia for his next move. From the security camera, we can see Ovadia rushes into the office, breaks the camera down with a chair and chokes his victim with telephone string.
Meanwhile,
Rosenthal and his gang are ruling over some stolen goods they plan to sell. Ovadia arrives with his truck and they make fun at him. Rami is giving Rosenthal the money they collected from the people during that day. And it is a high amount of money. Also, Ovadia is showing him the back of his truck that is full of goods from people who couldn't pay with money. Rosenthal is very pleased and shows his contempt for the rest of the gang, who were not even close to bring him the same amount of money. At home, Ovadia is hiding his cash in his stash. It's a toolbox. He is looking at himself in the mirror and he is super happy. The day after, he takes Rachel to a private clinic for fertility treatments. Rachel says that the place looks super expensive and asks him how are they going to afford it, not knowing Ovadia's secret new funding source. Ovadia calms her down and tells her that he got a salary rise from Mickey and that they will be able to afford it. In the clinic, they meet the doctor, a female, that make Rachel feel more comfortable. She tells them that they have nothing to worry about and that the chances to succeed with pregnancy in this private clinic are much higher than public hospitals. She promised the couple that by the end of the procedure, they are going to have a baby for sure. At Sky Club, the night goes wild. Rosenthal and Rami are chilling. Rami ends his call and tells Rosenthal that he is going to be on the television. Rosenthal then tells Rami that he loves him, and Rami tells Rosenthal that he loves him back. They share an intimate moment, and then the brothers Makhluf appears. Chezi is suggesting Rosenthal to take Rami to the toilet and satisfy their needs, instead of doing it on the couch. The brothers keep making fun at Rosenthal by telling him that he lost weight, counting his money. They join them at the VIP section, in which technically belongs to them. A quick montage is showing the tension between two crime organizations, the Makhluf brothers, who are the owners of the club and the powder-selling territory, and the Rosenthal gang, who are a threat to the brothers. Victor shared the group with a story from his childhood. He remembers that as a boy, he saw Rosenthal's father, drags him in the neighborhood and beats him up in front of everyone. Despite that, Rosenthal the boy haven't even dropped a tear, showing his toughness but also his poor childhood. Victor say that he feels sorry for Rosenthal. Rosenthal responds to the story by telling Victor that he's not a sad child anymore, and Victor replies that it's good to hear that. Mickey reaches to Victor, his cousin, whispers something in his ear and lands him over a paper bag, probably filled with money. Victor becomes serious and threatens Rosenthal that if he will hear again about Romano selling powder in the toilet, he will cut off Romano's testicles and he will force Rosenthal to eat it. The brothers leave. Rosenthal is telling Romano to stop selling immediately, and he sends him and Gabi on a secret mission. Romano and Gabi are spilling their drinks on Mickey, harassing him for snitching information to his cousins. Apparently, he told the brothers Makhluf about Romano selling powder in their territory, which is pretty, I don't know, to me it sounds pretty logic that he would. Like, if I was the manager of a club owned by my cousins who are also a drug dealing gangster, so I would probably tell them that someone is messing with their business instead of, like, I don't know, hiding information from them. Anyway, it seems like Mickey kinda fell through the cracks. Ovadia rushes to help Mickey and he separates him from the criminals. At Mickey's office, Ovadia asks what was this all about, and Mickey asks him to let it go and to leave him be. Ovadia insists, but Mickey stops him by saying that the last thing he wants to happen in the club is a war between two mafia groups. The day after, Ovadia is on the run after another borrower. He beats the man down and takes the money he finds in his wallet. Ovadia looks up and sees a bunch of kids looking at him. His look is telling us that he takes it emotionally, as he projects his effect on them and think about himself as an example of a future father. Afterwards, Ovadia goes to check on his wife on her periodic examinations. Ovadia goes to visit Rosenthal to give him the money he collected for today. Rosenthal and Rami are watching the news. In the television, we can see Rosenthal arrested with handcuffs and gets interrogated at court. They are excited like two boys who who watch themselves at the television. It seems like Rosenthal likes it that he's famous now. Rosenthal gives Ovadia his payment. Afterwards, he asks Ovadia if he's still using his truck to go and collect the money from the people. He asks Ovadia if he has a motorcycle license. Ovadia says yes, and Rosenthal leads him outside and tells him to sit on a bike. Romano is anxious about it and said that this is his bike. Rosenthal blows Romano off and gives Ovadia the helmet and the bike and tells him to go. When he leaves, Rami asks Rosenthal if he doesn't think that he's giving Ovadia too much of a treat, and Rosenthal replies that Ovadia is a long-time investment. Ovadia drops back home. Rachel is excited and is giving him a pregnancy test to check. After Ovadia is noticing a positive sign on the test, Rachel jumps with cheer and the couple is excited. At the club, Ovadia is still full of cheer and have a toast with Mickey. Rosenthal calls him over and asks him what were they celebrating. Ovadia hides the truth that he is about to be a father. Instead, he tells Rosenthal that his wife got a raise and they celebrated it. Rosenthal mocks him for being poor and afterwards asks him for a special job to do for him. He's giving Ovadia a name of a person. He says that he don't want anything from this guy. He only wants Ovadia to beat him up. Ovadia is surprised, but he takes the job anyway. He meets the man, who is an old taxi driver. He asks the driver to take him to a parking lot. Ovadia is feeling conflicted about doing it. The man seems like a decent worker and very old, and he probably not deserved to get beat up by Ovadia. When they stop the car, Ovadia punches the driver. He tells him that he was sent by Rosenthal. The old taxi driver tries to ask Ovadia to spare him by giving him money, but Ovadia says that he doesn't want his money and that Rosenthal only wants him to beat the driver to death. The old driver is hopeless and collapses in tears. He asks Ovadia to kill him and end his miserable life. Ovadia can't stand it and gets out of the taxi. He calms down the man. He tells the driver that he will protect him and asks him to disappear completely, to immigrate abroad or any other plan. The taxi driver thanks him and drives away. Ovadia goes back to Rosenthal and lies to him about taking care of the taxi driver. He says that the taxi driver is in the hospital in a very bad condition. Rosenthal is pleased and gives him the money for the job. Afterwards, we see that Ovadia is trying to go back to his normal past life and to abandon his work for Rosenthal. He goes back to the moving business and trying to avoid jobs offers from Rosenthal by saying that he got other things to do. It seems like the job is affecting Ovadia mentally bad. Afterwards, we see that Rosenthal and his keep-growing crime family are having a picnic party at the park. Ovadia greets Rosenthal and asks to talk with him in private. He says that he wants to quit and that he can no longer beat people up. Rosenthal declines his resigning and says that he needs him because he's going to take down the Makhluf brothers. His plan is to go inside Sky Club through the back door when the brothers Makhluf and Mickey are alone, and then to assassinate them. He needs Ovadia to leave the back door open in closing time. Ovadia says that he can't betray and sell Mickey and beg Rosenthal not to do it. Rosenthal gets angry and slaps him. Ovadia gets upset and fights back, but Rosenthal and his men are capturing Ovadia and dragging him to the nearby toilet. Rosenthal is threatening bloody Ovadia with a gun. An ultrasound picture of Ovadia's child fetus is found on the floor, and Rosenthal picks it up. He asks everybody for the owner, and of course it belongs to Ovadia. He marks the picture with Ovadia's blood and threatens him to do whatever he tells him. He steps on Ovadia's head, and Ovadia cries for his life that got exposed and the risk he have put his wife and child. Few hours later, Ovadia goes to check on Rachel examinations. He cannot hide the marks on his face from the doctor and from Rachel. He lies by saying that he had an accident with a fridge that fell on him at the stairs. Outside, Rachel is doubting what he just told her, and she asks him to tell the truth. He lies again by saying that a bunch of guys that he threw out of the club last night found him and beated him up. Rachel is saying that his job is getting more and more risky and that he's going to be a father soon. She says he needs to quit from work at Sky Club and find a different job. At home, before going to work, Ovadia looks at his reflection at the mirror, judging himself about what he is about to do. When he gets out, he sees that Romano and Gabi are watching over his house. Gabi threatens him that if the plan will not go the right way, he will set his house on fire and make it look like leaking gas accident. Ovadia goes to the club. He meets the brother Makhluf at the entrance and they greet him. Then he is getting a phone call from his wife, but on the other side it is Rosenthal speaking, and it sounds like Rachel is crying. Rosenthal threatens him to go on plan. Ovadia goes to the back and with great sadness leaves it open for Rosenthal assassins to go in. The night is over. Ovadia goes outside and texts Rosenthal that the back door is open. A personal security guard steps towards him and offers him a puff. Ovadia refuses, and then he gets a text message from Rosenthal that he has 10 minutes to get rid of the security guards who protect and secure the Makhluf brothers. Ovadia is getting anxious, and then he sees his truck and started to think of a plan. He takes the puff from the guard and being friendly with him. The guard says that he knows who Ovadia is and that he remembers Ovadia's deceased father. His father used to have a bakery where the guard grew up, and the children used to love Ovadia's father. He says that Ovadia's father was a great man and he mourned for his loss. Hearing that, Ovadia filled up with great sensation of despair. Then he said that he has a television screen at the back of his truck, in which he wants to sell to his friends, and he asked the guard if he might to take a look. The guard is interested and followed him. Inside the truck, Ovadia is knocking the guard and taking his gun. Afterwards, Ovadia goes back inside the club and knocks out the second guard. He hides the guard in one of the toilet cabins. Mickey steps in and almost caught him. Ovadia tells him not to enter the cabin because it is filthy, and Mickey is using the wall toilet. Mickey tells Ovadia that he needs to talk with him. He says that a couple of days ago, Rachel called him and thanked him about the raise he gave Ovadia, in which he didn't. Ovadia is awkward and he apologizes, but Mickey is kind to him and says that giving him a raise is the right thing to do. Mickey says that Ovadia is going to be a father now and that he needs a bigger salary. He says that Ovadia is like a family to him and that he will take care of him. Both men are hugging emotionally and Ovadia hugs Mickey strongly, denying the worst that is about to happen. On his way out, Ovadia is saying good night to the Makhluf brothers and Mickey. Victor is congratulating Ovadia for his pregnancy success and saying that they will take care of him and his family. The three are not aware at all at what is about to happen. Ovadia goes outside and puke on the floor. Afterwards, we are witnessing a montage of the Rosenthal gang arriving at the Sky Club. They are sneaking through the open door and shoots the three of them. The Makhluf brothers are trying to pull out their guns, but in vain. Mickey got shot by the shoulder and he's trying to run outside. Crossing the scene at the club, we see Ovadia crying in his van for what he has just done. Mickey is drawn outside and gets eliminated by Rami. At the final scene, we see Rachel getting birth to her son. Ovadia is gazing his newborn with joy, but also great sadness, knowing in his heart the terrible things had to be done for him to be in this moment. It is a cliché to ask for subscribe, so we won't do it. Bye! תודה רבה.